This story continues. It's a gift that keeps on giving, and it's completely dividing fans. Hi, this is Jay's Dirty Deeds. I'm James Lott Jr. here on JLJ Media, and normally we're talking about the dirty deeds on screen of General Hospital, but recently I've been reporting and talking about the dirty deeds off screen at General Hospital. Steve Burton, we talked about that already on the show. Ingo Rademacher, that's what we're talking about this time. He has made a statement, a video, and I got it from Michael Fairman. I'll make sure I give the onus to Michael Fairman. Has reposted this, and that's how I got the information to even look, because I don't follow Ingo Rademacher on anything. And I don't know him or anything like that. I don't know him personally or anything like that. But I didn't know he had put a statement out, and apparently he did, about his firing since leaving General Hospital. And fans also at the same time are reacting to who is commenting and liking the video from the show. It's a two-layer thing. So Ingo goes, I gotta make sure I get everything correct, because I make sure all is correct. This is my opinions. I will comment on this, but also make sure I get the things correct. He talks about how he was fired, as you don't know the story already, for not adhering to the Disney ABC mandates to be vaccinated for COVID-19. And he has been a big proponent against this. You go to his Instagram or Twitter, he talks about it all the time. He has been anti-vaxxer, calls pro-choice, very openly about it, unapologetic about it. So General Hospital let him go. Same with Steve Burton. And I know from my last video, people were like, Steve Burton didn't get fired. He got fired. When you are let go, that means you're fired. Yes, he had a choice, and so did Ingo. They chose not to get vaccinated. The show could have kept him on or not, and the show decided to follow the ABC Disney mandate, and they are out. Now the biggest fights are always like, well, he's fighting for his freedom. He's fighting for his choice. Everybody feels differently about this whole mandates, whether it's law. And so before you go into my comments and talk about all that, it's not a law. I keep trying to tell people it doesn't matter when it comes to a job. A job can say many things that are not, I know for a lot of people, I want to say this gingerly, because a lot of people think it's discriminatory, that they can't do that. This is discrimination against people who are anti-vax. And I know for me, because I'm a Black man, I've been discriminated against for being Black. That's something I can't help. I can't choose to not be Black. There's also other gender discrimination for women who can't, they're women, for other races, for sexual orientation. So this brings up a whole lot of things for people, that this is a health issue. And there are people like myself, I've been very vocal about this, who believe in the vaccine, who believe in science, who believe in safety. And there are others who believe that they don't believe in the science fully, or they do believe in it, but they believe that you should be able to choose if you should get it or not. Now, I always feel like when you're in a public space, or in a space like on the soaps, like I said before on the other show, it's a small set. It's very small, everybody's close together, and you have to be really careful. And it's a work environment. So it's different than if it's your home, or if it's some other space. This is work. So there are just in general, there are a lot of protocols in place for all kinds of stuff when it comes to being on set and being at work. I've been on sets before. There are a lot of rules you have to adhere to that you wouldn't even think about if you're at home or at a park or anywhere else, but there are things at work. Plus, it's a job. Now, somebody got mad at me because I mentioned wearing shoes, saying I was trying to compare it to a COVID virus. That's not what I was trying to do. My point is, if a company says we have a uniform, or if a company says these are the hours you're supposed to work, or a company has certain lists of things that they consider but has to be done to be able to work there, or it's no smoking on the premises, no drinking at work. There's all kinds of things, no hitting each other. There's all kinds of stuff that they don't allow at work. It's sexual harassment, all kinds of that they don't allow. If there's thing, they have rules. Now, if one of the rules is that you have to work there to be vaccinated, you can not like it. You can have religious reasons, you can have all that stuff, but they have a right to say goodbye. That's their rule. And sounds to me, Ingo was very strong in his belief. And he was like, okay, you're letting me go. I'm not changing my mind. And he's standing his ground. So that's what's happening. And like I said, again, I know it's a sensitive subject. I'm still, when it comes to right now, it's about the booster shots and all that kind of stuff. And I'm vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. Just to make sure everybody know that. I haven't got the booster yet. I'm going to get it at some point. But I feel like if a job told me, in order to work this job, you have to have the booster shot, then I'm like, okay, I can think about it for a second. And if I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it, then you don't take the job. Then you don't go to certain places. You're still able to have rights. You're still able to go out there and do other things. There are places that don't have mandates. There are places that let you come into the restaurant and not wear a mask and not be vaccinated. There's places, my cousin had a wedding that he had no problems with that. So there are spaces that have that. But for work, and because the soaps had problems with COVID and they don't want to shut down production, because I always tell people there are a lot of jobs in soaps that you don't even see. The crews are there. That's why the crew, IATSE, who represents the crews, were fighting so much for equality and for better working conditions because they work the hardest. No offense to the actors will probably say the same thing. They're there for the actors get there, they're there after actors leave. They do a lot of hard work and they all have families. Last year the soaps was shut down. Means that nobody was getting paid, nobody was working. I know that they want to be careful. And I actually admire them for wanting to be careful and want to make sure everybody's safe, has a safe work environment. Without anything happening. Again, I'm choosing to believe science. And everybody has the argument that, well, you can still get COVID if you have vaccine. That vaccine isn't a cure. It is to help lessen what happens to you. I'm a former nurse also. It happens to lessen the symptoms of how they say you won't die from it. But also, it's all the unvaccinated people. See, there are countries where they're like 90 to 98% vaccinated and they don't have any problems. Everybody's vaccinated. These new strands are coming because there are a lot of folks who are unvaccinated. And they're saying that's still passing around and bringing it to people who are vaccinated. So it's just, again, we're going to go this for the rest of our lives, apparently, because now it's a political issue and it's crazy, in my opinion. So Ingo talks about that. And he says he wish he could still be on the show for the next 25 years. He said it will not happen. He was on the show for 25 years, which I can't believe. That's crazy as me for that. But he also took a stab at Nancy Lee Grahn. Now, Nancy Lee Grahn's got a lot of flack also, and she doesn't care. She's happily taking care of whatever she needs to take care of. She speaks her truth. But a lot of fans are mad at her too. They feel like it's her fault that he and Steve got fired, and she opened her mouth. Well, again, I applaud her for opening her mouth. If people are getting COVID and coming to work and it's like the conditions aren't the safest, I want to know, I would do what I can to signal the alarm too and figure out what's going on. You need safe work conditions. And so she's getting a lot of flack. I only defend her. She's defending herself. She doesn't really care. She's moved on to the next thing and her life. He had disappointment that she mentioned his firing before he did. And on that note, I will say this. Possibly, maybe he should have said something first. Maybe she shouldn't have said anything on that one. I will say. I don't think she did anything wrong. It's her page. She can do whatever she wants on her page. But on some level, if I was him, I may understand that he would want to tell the story first and get it out there. And then she can cover her comments. I can see where he comes from on that a little bit. But again, she didn't do anything wrong. She can do what she wants. I want to make sure I get everything correct. Also, the big thing is there are people really taking sides. I'm seeing on Twitter and Instagram sides on this. If you are an Ingo fan, stop watching my stuff, stop my podcast. People are really getting upset. They're really like, don't come my direction. There are folks who support Ingo. I've seen there, people support him. Now there's some actors like Marcus Coloma. Somebody got mad at one of my friends, another friend of mine on the show, who used to be on the show, liked the post, sent support. Now, mind you, they are all vaccinated. The people who are commenting, they're vaccinated, they're on the show. They found Bradford Anderson talked about how on their show, they disagree about the whole situation, but they're still friends. So it goes back to, if you're a friend and you disagree, you've been friends for decades, do you drop them? Is you saying, I love you, we're gonna miss you publicly on a post, does that say, so should fans be looking at you side-eyed and sideways and going, what is, well, you know, I just think that we're humans, we can compartmentalize sometimes, but sometimes we can't. Sometimes it's all mixed together. And this all started when Donald Trump came in office, you know, years ago, and there were Trumpers and there were other conservatives and then there were Democrats, and it's like you can't be friends at all with Republicans. I have friends with Republicans. I'm a registered Democrat, even though I'm more kind of an independent. But I have friends with Republicans who, there are many times we actually agree on a lot of the same stuff. We just disagree on other things. But I can't be not friends with this. So it's this whole, it's opening a whole can of worms. I'm really curious to see how this continues going forward. And does this have any real effect on folks? I have friends who are not online, who don't go on YouTube, who literally just watch the show every day, and that's it. They just watch the show. They don't look at any of those. They don't read the papers. They're not looking at Michael Fairman. They're just like there, or me, or even me. They just watch the show every day at 2 o'clock their time or 3 o'clock their time, whatever time comes on where you are, and that's it. And they're seriously just missing the character of Jax, or missing the character of Jason. They don't care about all the other stuff. I wonder how this feels for them, where they're just like, I just watch a show and I like these characters, and they're just kind of gone. I will say killing Jason off has given lots of great scenes this last week or so with some major characters. So out of tragedy, sometimes beauty is born, as they say. So I'll be continuing to comment and watch this story as it continues to unfold. It's kind of fascinating to me. I've gotten some stuff towards me, and I don't care. I can handle it. But I'm just, and I said all my opinions are my own. These are my opinions, and but I really enjoyed the engagement on the other videos. You guys really told me how you felt, and I don't mind. And it's a free space to tell me how you feel. I don't censor any comments. I don't delete comments. A lot of times I answer you back. A few of them were ridiculous, and I answered back to the ridiculous comments. But for the most part, you guys are just telling me how you feel. And some of you are on the side of them, and some of you are on the side of me, and some of you are on the side in the middle. And so that's what this is all about. It's free speech, and I do stand for that. For me, I have compassion. I wish Steve Burton and Ingo Rademacher, hopefully it all works out for them, however it works out. I don't want anybody to get COVID or get sick. And I hope they don't get sick again. I mean, I think Steve already had it once. I'm not sure, but I don't want them to get sick. Anything major to happen. I want anybody to get sick and have it. We already had enough deaths from this thing. I want the show to continue and be a successful show with good storylines. There are other characters on the show. There's no two people make a show. There are other people on the show, and I want to see General Hospital continue as it is. I'm James I. Jr. You can follow me at GLJ Media, and we'll see you next time.